if you're dehydrated, it can cause constipation, lower blood pressure, increased heart rate, strain on the kidney, headaches. It can make your skin look bad. So overall, being dehydrated or not drinking enough water is really bad. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Quality of Life Quest. My name is Anneke. Today's topic is dehydration. And if I look at all the patients on the ward, and if I were to kind of pinpoint one thing that a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people could do better, and it would help them getting better, not as in curing them or because people come to our ward for all sorts of reasons. But if there's one thing that most people could do is drink more water, because dehydration really is a thing. Several people come onto the ward for dehydration. For a lot of people, it becomes apparent that they are dehydrated when they come onto the ward, but they come there for a different reason. So dehydration is not just feeling thirsty, because a lot of people, they're not thirsty. If they were thirsty, they might have been drinking. They don't really consider themselves thirsty. But dehydration is a big factor in blood pressure, in increased heart rate, strain on the kidneys, constipation, headaches. You can see it in your skin. The list is almost endless of the effects of dehydration. And when you're dehydrated, it's very difficult to find a right place to put in a cannula. A cannula is this thing they put in your arm or your hand where they can connect a drip to, an IV drip. And one of the ways to get liquids into a person is via an IV, especially if people can't drink or don't want to drink, or that list is quite endless as well. So then they are dehydrated and you can't hydrate them unless they drink, and it becomes a bit complicated. So how do you know that you are dehydrated? As I said, it can have so many effects on your body, and what you experience, is it based on dehydration? I don't know, but it's easy to find out. Drink more water. There are very few people who drink too much. It happens maybe once every month, once every 6 weeks, that a patient comes to the ward who drinks an awful lot of water. Good water, and again, that's a whole podcast in itself, but good water is the main thing you should be drinking, in my humble opinion. If you drink coffee is a diuretic. So is tea, but tea slightly less so. And a diuretic means that when you drink it, it expels water from your body. So it's kind of counterproductive to drink coffee or tea when you're dehydrated. You can opt for fizzy drinks, as a lot of people do. Fizzy drinks have got their own problems. They're usually filled with sugar, or maybe even worse, sugar alternatives. So they are labeled as zero sugar, which, again, a whole podcast in itself. Or people go for juices, and juices are fine. It's just they can be very sweet. And in a hospital setting, they sit out on your bedside table, which is not the best place to keep fresh juice. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're at home or in hospital, the aim is to drink water. They say about 2 liters. It depends on, how big you are, what kind of activities you do. If you sweat a lot, then you may want to drink a bit more water. Not only water, you want to have the electrolyte as well. As I said, a whole podcast in itself. Do you prefer ad-free listening and viewing? Would you like to see your questions answered? And how about live Zooms? Would you enjoy discounts on everything from artwork to courses to one-on-one chats with me? Become a founder member. Go to thequalityoflife.quest to find out more. See you on the other side. If you're dehydrated, it can cause constipation, lower blood pressure, increased heart rate, strain on the kidney, headaches. It can make your skin look bad. It doesn't flush out any of the waste products that should be flushed out. So overall, being dehydrated or not drinking enough water is really bad. What can you do to prevent that? It's drinking water, and I've just mentioned the list of things that are not so good to drink: tea and coffee because they're diuretic, and juices are quite sugary, and the fizzy drinks are not particularly healthy either. The other thing you can do is eat foods that are rich in water. For example, a cucumber. If you eat a cucumber, not only do you have the fibers that are in the cucumber, which is really good for you, but there's a lot of liquid in it. There's a lot of juice in it, a lot of water, and it's a very good way of getting your liquids up by eating food that is very rich in liquid. For example, cucumbers. Really, really good. What you can do is keeping track of what goes in and what comes out. Now, for a lot of people, they'll go like, oh, no, I can't be doing that. Well, believe me, in hospital, we do keep track of it, and we do collect what comes out, which, of course, is easiest for people who've got a catheter because it collects in a bag. And it's easy for us to then collect it out of the bag. But yes, we quite often ask for people to collect their urine, especially people who have got problems with their kidneys. We need to keep track of that. And you can do that at home. You can do it at home. And it's an interesting exercise to do. It's interesting to know your baseline. What is your normal? And when things feel off, you can then check, is this off as well? Is this where I should be? Where I normally am? What is my normal when I feel good? And when I don't feel good, is this part of it? Is this part of me feeling unwell? Especially in women, although men get it as well, a urinary tract infection is really something you want to avoid. And dehydration can be a contributing factor in a urinary tract infection. It's something you really want to avoid. It's unpleasant to start with, and it can make you go doolally. The person presents all of a sudden from one day to the next behavior as if they suddenly have got dementia. It is really, really strange to observe. And then when they find the right medication, and of course they are rehydrated as well, it also shifts back again. But once you've had a urinary tract infection once, you're more likely to get another one. But that's a side quest to the dehydration. So again, you want people to hydrate. And especially for elderly people, it can be tricky to do so. In summer, when it's hot, they're so stuck in their ways to, I've got my cup of tea in the morning, and then I've maybe got a cup of tea halfway in the morning again, and a cup of tea at tea time, and that's it. That's their lot of tea, and they won't drink anything else. It's very difficult to change those habits, especially if people don't feel thirsty. So we've discussed what it all does, dehydration, what it can do. We've discussed what you can do at home. Drink water, eat food rich in water, keep track of what goes in and comes out, make sure you know what your normal is, and if you feel unwell, see if that's one of the contributing factors. There are some things that can happen when you take in liquids and it doesn't come out. Some people suffer from urinary retention. You will find that out rather quickly because it hurts, and people will end up in hospital with that. Very unpleasant, and something needs to be done about that because it needs to come out. Another lady I remember, she had problem with her kidneys, and she was drinking enough. She had a catheter and nothing came out. As it turned out, the liquid were collecting in her legs. She was bedbound, and I can't remember why I checked her legs, and maybe I just needed to change her sheets, or I don't know. But we then knew where the liquid went. It went into her legs. So it's not always as easy as liquid in, liquid out. Sometimes it gets stuck somewhere in the process. If you know that you don't drink enough, find a moment in the day where it's easy for you to drink a glass of water, whether that is during your morning break. Rather than have a cup of coffee, start with a glass of water, maybe 2 glasses of water, and forget about a coffee. That won't make me friends, will it? If you still need a coffee afterwards, at least you had some water. But find a moment in the day, because it's easy to say, oh, well, get up in the morning and the first thing you do is drink a glass of water. That may not suit you. I don't know what you're going to do first thing in the mornings. You may be doing handstands, who knows? And you don't want to be drinking some water before you do that. Find a moment in the day where you add a glass of water to your routine, and find some fruits and vegetables that are really rich in water as well, and add those to your diet, and see how you feel. See where that leads, and then take it from there. Let me know how you're getting on, if you've got any more questions about it, and may the road rise up to meet you. Until next time. See you. Bye.